Okay.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Best Ever You Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino, and with me is the amazing new author, Kris Fuller. And I guess new, hello, I guess new, maybe might not be the right word for you, actually. You got 3 books under your belt now.
I know, but it's the evolution of the different genres, maybe, right? Because I've already done children's books and journals, but it's my first young adult fantasy adventure book.
Yeah, so we are here talking with Kris Fuller, and she's the author of this amazing book, Terramara, Mara's Transformation, and it's written solely by you, and it's published by Waldorf Publishing, and it just came out, was that November 15th?
Yes, launch date was November 15th. It hasn't even been a month, and it's been so exciting to see people buying it, people reading it, getting the feedback about what a delightful story it is. It just warms my heart, and I'm just so grateful that this publishing of this particular story has come out in 2020 for me. What a dream.
So for those of you listening to us on the radio, you can't see us hold up the book, but we did just hold up her beautiful book. It's glossy cover, it's blue, it's shiny, it's got a beautiful description on the back and this cover. Tell us about the cover of this book. And
I will, but I'm gonna just read that description on the back so
yeah,
listeners can hear and sort of get a sense of the book too. So it says, enchanted rivers and magic Marilias care for the land in Terramara. Gardens thrive and humans live in harmony with the water sprites. When the river's power starts to fade, Terramara's future is at risk. Mara, a silvery Marilia, is transformed. She has an important destiny to fulfill, but will it be enough to save Terramara? So that's the write-up. And then the cover here on the front, it was done from Waldorf Publishing with their in-house artist, but the woman that I worked with was absolutely amazing. So I've got gray mountains up in the background with the magical enchanted river. So one of the things about the river in the story is that it flows both ways at the same time. And the Marilias are the little magical water sprites who live in the river, but they can leave at any time to water the world. There's white columns lining the palace. There's a palace and lining the pathway up to the mountain, and the white columns become very important in the story as well. There's 3 waterfalls that are showing on the right-hand side in the front. Colorful trees, all different colors, because the trees and forest, of course, is enchanted and magical as well. And then in the foreground, there's water splashing and splooshing up, and a young woman stepping out of the water with her blue top and her silvery hair.
So who's the book for?
So I did my dedication on this book for my husband, Ben. I had started writing it even before I met him, but the journey of getting published and finishing it, he was there, and he was that person that every chapter, every sentence, I could go to him and be like, hey, can you read this? Hey, let me read this to you. How does this sound? And he was just that like amazing sounding board. And if you knew Ben, you would know he has like oodles and oodles of patience. And so that's who it's for in the dedication sense. Who's it for in the reader sense? It's listed from Waldorf as a 12+, but I would say if you've got a strong reader, like 8, 9, 10, they can read it. My nephew is 9, and we've been reading it together, and he loves it. Yeah. And actually, one of my girlfriends is reading it to her 7-year-old niece, and they're having a great time with it too. And then as well, I know 12+ is so vague, and it says young adult fantasy, but friends of mine who are in their 40s are like, this is such a delightful, like it's a really nice adventure book. So, and I mean, for me, when I look at what I like to read, like I think Harry Potter is a 12+, but I love that adventure, and I'm a little more than 12+, like I don't know what 44
No.
44 is. 44 in the 12+ bucket, because I mean I am 12+, but
That's super funny. Yeah, no, you're fine. 12+, 44, whatever.
12+ kind of thing.
Mighty fun. Why did you write this book? And how long did it take you to write this book?
So I started writing it when I was 30. I was working in the United Kingdom in schools, and I was working with children doing creative writing. And I believe one of the things to do in that situation is to model it. So they would write and I would write, and then someone would share a bit of their story and I would share a bit of mine. And during this writing time, I really started to puzzle together, like, what if I was to write a longer, like a whole story, not just a half-hour little cute story with these kids? And I started mapping it out. And then I started writing the outline of it. And in fact, I have not 1, but 5 books in my mind that are actually mapped out. So I'm excited to write the next 4 as well. So I wrote and had this book, I would say 90% written, that 15 years ago. And at that time, you know, the internet you weren't as connected. And so I had to write letters to publishing houses and say, I've written this book, here's 2 chapters, would you like to publish it? And I received...
Hi, how many rejection letters do you have? My stack is impressive.
Oh yeah, at least 60 rejection letters, plus another like 50 ignores. Like nobody, they didn't even bother to reject me. They just never got back to me, which is fine. But it just started, I was like, I don't know how to navigate this. And so it went to the back burner for a long time. Then when I moved to BC, maybe I don't know how many years ago I moved here, but I was sitting with my sister and her husband and a friend of theirs, and we were talking about writing, and I actually pulled up my file on my phone or computer, and I was like, let me read you a little bit of what I wrote. We stayed up till 3 in the morning, and I was reading them like the first 6 chapters, and then I summarized and gave them the Cole's notes of what was going to happen, and they were just like, this sounds, you need to finish it. You need to finish it. So I put more time into it. I kind of worked on it, but it wasn't until 2020, this year, I met an incredible woman. It happens to be you. And what I needed was that connection, right? And you had said, oh yeah, I've written this and I've done that. And I said, you know, I've always been a writer, and I have this dream to publish this book. And I just never got through the door. And the gift that you gave me was that connection to Waldorf Publishing. And so once you connected us, then it was up to me to have the story that mattered and to have the ability to finish it and comply and do all of the things. And so
you were ready.
They took it.
Opportunity meets somebody ready. So it's always neat.
Ran with it, ran with me, took a chance on me, and now here I am, published author in 2020 with the young adult fantasy Terramara, Mara's Transformation. You can find it on Amazon. You can search my name, Kris Fuller. I'm Kris with a K. You probably can't see it. It's probably backwards there, or is it?
No, it's good. It's
K-R-I-S, and then it's F-U-L-L-E-R. So 2 simple names to search on Amazon. And you can also go to my website, which is krisfullerauthor.com, which is another easy place to find me and to find the book.
Well, so this interview will just be for this book, but you have written other books. We've got journals and children's books and all those things, and those are all on your Amazon author page as well, and your website and our websites and everything. It's funny when we're interviewing friends. It's like, I know you. I know the answer to the questions and things like that.
I know, because we've now collaborated. This is just me, but we've collaborated on so many other projects that there is a lot of intermingling, intertwining, and shared things on our platforms now, which is awesome.
So one of the things, because we're the Best Ever You show, we always ask authors this: how do you yourself help others be their best?
So I love that question, and I am an encourager. I am a cheerleader. If you follow me on Your Life Sparkles or see me on Best Ever You, you will always hear me say, just keep going. Just keep going. Like this project for me, 15 years. And part of me is like, I can't believe I had a project that was like back burner and going, because I'm someone that likes to get things done. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then I do it. I'm going to do that. And then I do it. And so for this to be hanging out for so long, sort of marinating and lingering, that was different for me, but I never fully let it go. And that is why it was able to come to life. So when you are looking at, I would really like to do this, or I would really like to do that, my advice and my way to inspire you is to say, just keep going, because I kept going. And
and look at, and the other thing too, I would add to that is, I love it when people outwardly express their goals and dreams, verbalize them so people can hear them, because people will show up for you. And if you don't do that, we never knew that was a dream or a goal of yours. Like if you hadn't said out loud, hey, by the way, I've got a book that I want to publish, I'd never know, or no one would ever know.
You're so right about that, because I almost didn't, because the books that you have written are in a different genre. Percolate is in the self-help genre, and when you were talking to me about that, I was so excited. I thought, oh, that's awesome, but I don't know if that relates to a young adult fantasy story about magic.
It doesn't, and different publisher. That's one thing you've got to find. Like, I think we've learned this through the things we've done together, is this is its own project. And if you treat each thing like it's its own project, the project needs an audience, the project needs its own purpose, it needs its own publisher or self-publisher or whatever. Kind of go project by project and determine what this needs. And then it has life and energy behind it. Without that, it doesn't have the right energy behind it. And so this has great energy behind it. It's beautiful. When you hold it in your hands, it's got energy to it, and it's positive energy. And that's such a wonderful thing. The other thing we ask our authors always are, what are a few of your favorite books?
Well, I would go to favorite authors. I love C.S. Lewis, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and so many things by C.S. Lewis. Just a delightful storyteller, and that's near and dear to my heart. Same with Roald Dahl. He is another one of my absolute favorites, just because he's got such delightful way with words, and it's just, for me, they're those page turners. And as I mentioned, that 12 plus, I love that 12 plus. I love reading those types of books. I'll get into some heavier mysteries and espionage and whatever else, but when I'm thinking about this genre, those are probably two of my top favorite authors.
Do you think you know how we do that, we age or whatever, you know, 40 is not old, I'm 51, but you know, as we age, I keep those books on my bookshelf. Like I have Where the Sidewalk Ends, I have these things, and it's interesting to me because do you also turn to those books for your inspiration rather than maybe something that's currently out?
Yes, one of the box sets that I have that I love is the Laura Ingalls Wilder set.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the
Absolutely have it, yeah. And the Boxcar Children, and all of it.
I got that box set when I was in, like, I don't know, grade 5. Like, I was a girl of 10, read them all, have it, love it. I've reread them over the years, and I've obviously, then the TV show came out, and it's just this delightful family story. But reading her books, I'm like, I find so much joy in them. And there's some books that I think, oh, I don't need to read that again, I know what happens. But those ones I do read again. They just still continue to like inspire me and be like, look at this lovely lady's Laura's life. And I just think there is a place for that. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, Melissa Gilbert just actually had surgery. She's on Twitter. I'm connected with her, and she had surgery for her spine.
Yeah, and of course, for those of you who don't remember, she was the actress who played Laura Ingalls in the whole episode.
Yeah, thinking about that, yeah, what an amazing.
So half pint to all the way up to when she was an adult. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, it's been wonderful having you here. Not like I don't talk to you a lot, but it's been wonderful to actually interview you about your book and share you with the audience and tell people all about your beautiful new book. And hopefully people will stocking stuffer this.
Yes,
do you think
that's the other thing? People do say, they say, how can we help support you? What can we do? I'm like, those are the things you can do. You can buy my book, but you can tell other people to buy my book. You can give it as a gift. And the other thing is you can write a review afterwards, because other people want to know, like, how did you like it? And what was it about? And so those are things when people are like, how do I support an author? That it's hard to see that. It's hard to be brave and say, please buy my book, and actually please buy 2 and give 1 away. But that is really the heart of it, right? So if you want to,
that makes me so happy when people buy the book, and when they're done with it, donate it, or whatever you want to do with it, just pass it on, tell 5 people about me. Because one of the things about us is we don't have that super expensive PR firm behind us where we've paid somebody, you know, $3,000 to $10,000 a month to promote our book out into the universe, or even $1,000. You know, we're on our own budgets here, and so it's very meaningful to authors.
Yeah, and my budget is 0. Like
it's mine pretty much. I can't do that with all the kids in college and everything. It just isn't.
No, it's me sharing and doing what we're doing. And so I am very grateful, Elizabeth, for you spending some time highlighting this for me, because everything, I think you just
everything matters. Yeah. What's your hashtag for this too? I want to close up here, but
hashtag Terramara. So that's Terramara. I know you're going to put it in type so people can see it, but Terramara is a unique hashtag for this book. It's the main title of the book. So
okay, everybody, KrisFullerAuthor.com. Thank you for being with us here on the Best Ever You Show, and take care, everybody, and have a great day. Thanks.